Calling from a 631 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hi, it's Maya. I wasn't sure if I entered everything right. So it's nice to talk to you.
I'm sorry?
I said it's Maya. I wasn't sure how to call in. This is my first time, so I'm really happy to be talking to you.
Oh, well, thanks for calling. Where are you calling from, Maya?
I'm calling from Long Island. I wanted to call in about the interview that I saw yesterday with Becca Timmon about human trafficking.
Right, okay.
Because I'm an actual sex worker, and I'm a DACA recipient. So I was smuggled here when I was 5. So it was interesting getting her input, although it was really, it kind of tells me everything that's kind of wrong with people who are fighting for human trafficking, because obviously agencies like ICE, they kind of operate on that whole mentality too of we're saving people from human trafficking, and the preventions under which they have that are very violent.
Yeah, well, I mean, get more specific about what Timon said, because I felt that I felt like we were going around in circles a little bit, that it was problematic to go after these outlets, because if you're successful, all you're doing is making it harder for people to track who has and has not been trafficked.
Yeah, she spent a lot of that time just saying, I don't know, it's very young, and so you can't really judge FOSTA-SESTA because we just started it. And it's kind of the justification every single agency that fights trafficking kind of gives, give it a chance, it's so young, you can't judge it.
Well, what's your perspective?
She was talking about how they need to...
What's your perspective on the potential for efficacy by SESTA FOSTA?
I don't. It's been having a really bad impact on me. I actually did a Vice special because there was a Australian reporter that was talking about the impacts of FOSTA-SESTA globally, because it's not just impacting women in the U.S., but it's just global now, because these platforms that were made in the U.S., they reach the global landscape. So now people from overseas that have legalized sex work and decriminalized sex work are feeling the impacts as well. But I wanted to talk about...
Okay, well, go ahead.
I also wanted to talk about something she said. She said that she wanted to take away the tools of traffickers, which is a really common thing that police and other government agencies use. So, a jail, a prison said that they were going to ban books because someone might smuggle drugs. So, or they were going to ban all immigrants to prevent trafficking. We need to take the kids away from these parents, from their parents, because these parents are criminals, they're traffickers. There's things like that. To take away the tools is taking away the resources. Obviously, these people are just like us, but what they don't understand is that a lot of internet provider services and stuff like that, like Arrows, is a full prostitution website, escort website, and when you go on there, they actually try to screen you to make sure that you're consenting to this, and there's a whole bunch of processes they go through. So they take your ID and they make sure that it matches your face, all that kind of stuff. They really want to prevent human trafficking. We look after our own, but unfortunately the system has made it to the point where we are afraid to report cases of actual, abuse of power because we will be persecuted. And, it extends much more past sex work to, why are laborers exploited so much? Why are immigrants exploited so much? It's because the system has criminalized us as a whole.
Well, I will say this. I think, the construct of taking away the tools is not, I think it's a mistake to say in all aspects, in the way that you're making analogies to different situations, it's bad, right? I want to restrict access to guns because it's the tool for mass murder. And in that instance, I think it's an effective one. But I think the idea is that there needs to be a greater awareness of the need for rights for sex workers, and just a not a knee-jerk response to dealing with trafficking, but one that actually is more practical and effective. And it seems to me that in terms of like those ads, it's the only way that we have as a society of tracking down folks who have been trafficked. And we need to be able to assess sites, like you say, that are effective in screening. You know, we need to be able to sort of recognize that that's possible and that's legitimate. I mean, and to me, it starts first with what you need, I think, is to legalize sex work more broadly, so that we can then begin to, regulate in a rational way, in a way that protects sex workers in the same way that we want to protect workers more broadly.
Yeah, I do think that with these online, like all the online places, they turn over any information they have when it comes to an investigation over to police. So it's not like that was never in place before. And obviously, if you're going to persecute, someone for a crime, you would persecute the trafficker. You would persecute the person doing the thing, not the person running the whole website, unless they were like somehow involved. But they have this weird idea that I guess traffickers are going to the person running the website, and they're like, yeah, man, I'm going to sell children, and you'll get a cut of the profit, and we're all in this together. So the FBI report on Backpage, the evidence that they had of this happening was that Backpage had rules for what ads they allowed up. So if you said things like, child or something like that, or if you put that in the ad, they wouldn't allow that up on their ads. And they looked at that and they was like, see, this is proof that Backpage knows that their children are being sold on here. But every website has that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's unfortunate. I'm not sure. I think there needs to be a comprehensive addressing of this issue, so that SESTA and FOSTA would not make sense in the context of a structure where sex work was protected like other work. But I appreciate you calling in, Maya.